Of course, no car rescue is complete without genuine cat poop. In 1975, this pickup was bought as a first car for the current owner while he was in high school. A 55 Ford F100 step-side pickup. He purchased it for $695, which in today's money is about $3,600 as of 2022. It originally had a 239Y block coupled with a Ford-O-Matic automatic transmission. At some point, it was decided by the owner to add more power and was replaced with a Ford Edsel 390 from Mercury and a manual 4-speed transmission from a donor Mustang Mach 1. He continued to drive it until 1984 when the 390 engine started to develop low compression, if he recalls correctly. That was about 38 years ago. But wouldn't you know it, he had stashed a spare Ford Edsel 360 in the barn years ago. So the game plan is, if this current 390 won't behave and run right, we'll go ahead and swap it with the 360 that he stashed away in storage, and we'll see if that straightens things out. He does plan on restoring it, so my job here is to simply get it back on the road, driving safely, and he will do the full restore later on it. So, let's go ahead and get this pickup moved out in the sunshine and dust it off and see what we got. So we got her pulled out somewhat. I guess the overview now is there's a plenty. I'm cursed with rat's nest on this channel, but it looks like it's pretty much all here. No headliner, but trivial. All the components for the bed is here. Looks like it may have been trying to go under restoration at one point in its life, but obviously it's been put on pause. But fortunately, everything here for the bed is all here, including the straps that go in between the wood pieces. In fact, it looks like we got actually one original wood piece in there. Looks like the tailgate is also here. The one thing I found interesting on this thing, it has twin fuel tanks going to either side. Now you notice that this one is a factory style. You can see how the tin is dented in. On the passenger side, you notice this isn't dented in. So I'm going to assume that this is definitely aftermarket. I don't think you could get dual tanks back in 55. I'd have to consult the graybeards on that. It almost looks professional enough, but because the tin is indented in, that might be an aftermarket job. And there's the second tank underneath the hood. Let's see what we got underneath here. Oh! Alright, first look underneath the hood. There is the Ford Edsel 390. Absolutely nothing exciting, but that's alright. Got the factory 4-barrel on there. How's that for some vintage air horns? I don't know if the diaphragm works, but we may have to hook those up to the air compressor just for fun. I do notice one of the big things we're missing is there's supposed to be support rods, and it's supposed to go somewhere in here to there, and also makes kind of like a triangle pattern from there to there. Helps keep the tin on, you know, a little bit better, keeps things from flopping around, but I don't see that there. Somebody apparently was desperate to have a rotor. Apparently someone's been in here and half the plugs are off. That's all right. Of course, my rat's nests have, we got some cleaning to do obviously in the engine compartment. Now the original factory battery tray is underneath the passenger seat, but somebody put a tank underneath there, and obviously the battery tray has been relocated to up here, which will work all right. Radiators here, fan, everything here. It's all here, so hopefully if the engine isn't frozen, even if we have to replace it, hopefully we can still make some noise coming out of it. This is one of those rebuildable fuel pumps, because you can actually take the screws off and replace the diaphragms. I like those much better. 4-barrel carburetors all here. Yeah, it's a little taut. The linkage is a little taut. We do have, beyond the obvious rat's nest, we do have headers on here. Nice. It looks like our exhaust, looks like our header system is kind of sheared off and broken. I don't know if that's mendable, if we're just gonna have to get another headers on here. Two very lovely glass packs. True dual exhaust. Nothing but high performance here. Passenger view. Looks like we got a starter, flywheel, clutch stuff's going on there. Oh, we even got the factory original manifolds, but I was told we want to keep the headers on here, so that's all right. So I guess that's pretty much the tour. We'll go ahead and start cleaning it up and blowing it out, and then give it a scrub. Love some cat poop. Isn't that just the cutest little blower fan? I'll tell you what that is right now. Not nunchucks, but that's the one of the handles, the tailgate. Tailgate latch, I guess. Ooh, one heavily used Motorcraft starter. Backing plate. Yummy. Well, got all the big chunks out. I think it's time to get the leaf blower out. Really make some noise in even a bigger mess. definitely more tolerable. There we go. I was told this pickup did have the interior on it at some point. It's wrapped up in a barn or something somewhere. But yeah, definitely can sit in here and breathe a little bit easier now. So now that we have the inside mostly dusted off, go ahead and pull it around and go ahead and get all this bird poop off of here. I know you guys ridiculed me on the Toyota for not scrubbing it up first, so consider this, we're going to fix that issue and give the pickup a scrubbing first before we actually start wrenching on it. Should clean up fairly nicely. Oh, look, another rat's nest.
The strawberries too.
Oh,
That bit my
So a few things. We got her drip drying now. The original color, I believe it was green. This yellow may have been the primer. I'm not quite certain. As you can see, the yellow is the bottommost coat that I've found so far. Then you had the, I don't know, it looks like a forest green, a really rich color. And then somewhere along the line it was painted this, well, it's not baby blue, but this blue color. I don't know if we still have a body tag or not to actually look up what that actual color is, but hood's got a little bit of rotting out on the one side. Overall, this whole pickup is very restorable, very restorable. Everything's all here, or 95% of them are here. You saw when I was unloading the rear bed. Yes, we do have the front and rear factory bumpers. We do have most of the emblems. They're stuck in a tote box. One thing I forgot to mention though was the glass. So the front windshield is 100% intact. Obviously the seals will need to be redone at some point because they've been siliconed to keep the rain out. The door windows are cracked here, so we'll have to figure out, talking to the customer who owns it, they may or may not actually delete this and put a one-piece. You can put a one-piece deal on there. I'm not quite sure how we're going to go about doing that, or what direction, if we want to keep wing windows or not. The other door is, glass is cracked on both the main as well as the wing window. So we'll figure that out later when we're ready to drive it. A lot of pickups of this vintage always has a rear quarter cab rotted out. This one's actually in pretty good shape on this side. The rear corner cab though on the driver's side is a little bit worse for wear. It's a little bit more on the chunky side. We'll have to go scrounging around for the window and crank handles, but that's a whole interior cleanup refurbishment episode. I don't know how deep we'll get into that, but we'll figure it out. I really do like this shifter. Conforms to your hand for positive gear engagement. It is a Formula S model. I don't know. Anyways, we will have to work on the brakes at some point because that's the brake pedal. As you can see, I'm putting all my weight into it and it doesn't work at all. So I'm sure after 38 years the brake master is going to have at least a refurbishment going on there. Instrument panel is fully intact. So now that we got it all scrubbed up, we're going to dive into the engine compartment now and see what is it going to take to at least resurrect this 390 again. Now again, it's got low compression, allegedly was put away many years ago, so I don't know how much noise this engine is going to make, but if it's got enough compression left, hopefully it'll make a bit of noise for us. In the worst case scenario, we'll just put that 360 in here instead. So let me get you guys set up. We'll start cranking on it and see what's free or what's frozen. Before we check fluids or anything, let's go ahead and try to spin that crankshaft around by hand. After 38 years, I'm not going to give up much hope that this thing's going to spin easily, but odder things have happened. Not on my channel, of course. Okay. Yeah, right. Oh, she locked up. Or at the very least, very, very taut. No. No. Yeah, it's locked up solid. Well, for fun, we'll pull the spark plugs, maybe shoot some diesel down the cylinders, maybe work it back and forth, take the fan shroud off in the fan, and see if we can, I don't know, let the engine soak for a bit just for funsies. See if we can, excuse me, see if we can get it to break loose here at some point, maybe. I don't think that one's a hen. So taking a look at the spark plugs, the driver's side, it wasn't terrible. A little bit darker, perhaps running a little bit rich, but they weren't all that bad. The right side, however, wasn't so good looking. Particularly the spark plugs 3 and 4. And this is the 4th spark plug here. As you can see, yeah, it was definitely an oil burner for sure. Right quick, I'm going to go ahead and put diesel into all the cylinders in a vain attempt maybe to break the engine loose. I don't know if this will work. We're doing this more or less just for fun. And worst case scenario, if this doesn't fix the seized up engine, or at least very hard to turn over engine, when we go to rebuild it, at the very least, the combustion chamber will have been sitting in diesel for some time, and I don't know, maybe they'll eventually unlock itself. I'm already prepping and bracing that we're just gonna have to swap the engine out, which is fine. I think the donor motor, the 360, you guys saw on the slideshow, I think that ran only up to about 10-15 years ago. Which is a heck of a lot more recent than this 390. Okay, we've got all the combustion chambers lubed up with some diesel. We'll let those soak. Go ahead and pull the radiator fan shroud and the radiator fan and see what misfortune we're going to find soon thereafter. Oh, well, now that's lovely. That is inside of the radiator reservoir. There's the cap you see right up there. Oh, good. We're pulling a radiator out as well. Well, at this point, I could probably assume that we're going to go ahead and swap engines now. Keep digging in further and further, and nothing but problems. I think that's going to be the official motto for the channel. This is another day at the office. Oh, yeah. That's the darndest coolant I've ever seen. Oh, there's more. Yep, the further I dig into this thing, will you hush? Definitely the further I dig into this thing, the worse it gets. Oh, it's one of these 3/4 fan trouts. No, what they did is they simply whacked the bottom of it. I don't mind that. That's easier for me. Now that we can get to the pulleys, just out of curiosity. Oh! We have a frozen water pump. Wow, that is completely frozen. That will prevent an engine from turning over, believe it or not. Oh, I wonder if our crankshaft is still frozen then. Thanks for finally let me get a wrench on it and see if it actually spins just a little bit. Oh, no, it's still frozen. Oops. Looks like someone had their Wheaties. No, all I'm doing is just tightening that bolt. Hopefully I'm not stripping it out, but yeah, no. Nope, we got a frozen engine. Sweet. Well, I suppose now we'll go ahead and... I suspected we were going to pull the engine. Let's go ahead and pull the radiator out next. Yep, that's one awesome hose clamp. Oh, there we go. Yummy. And for those playing along at home, that is what 38 years of settling will do inside of a hose. Yikes. Yeah, this truck will run and start after 38 years, sure. And of course the other side as well. I suppose we'll have to flush the radiator too somehow. Love it. Custom battery bracket, can't buy that at the store. Fun fact, this hole is not factory, and there's a reason why it was cut open. To get to this nut that's on the other side on this hinge, if it's not stripped out, it'll come out just like the other side. What they've done here is there's a, a nut in there so they can crimp it shut, because you cannot get, if this nut strips out, you cannot get to it from back here, up to here, over here. You literally have to cut a hole to get to that darn thing. Even though I'm a Ford fan, that is, yeah, that's definitely a big fail. So I'm just gonna try to hold that nut still with a screwdriver. I can't get a wrench in there. Hopefully it's break loose. No, it wants to spin with me. Should be good enough if we thump it. Okay. Go ahead and spin it around to the side, pull it up, and out. Do you want to set up against your oil tank there possibly, or?
And if we look closely, this is how they hid their keys back in the 50s.
I think what's going on with this key, I think I figured it out. This is the manual choke cable, right? I think what happens is this was used as a backing plate to help anchor the cable housing so you can actually actuate the cable itself that's now frozen. I'm gonna guess at this point, this manual cable was attached to here by some form or other. I mean, it'll work. Right, so let's see if this carburetor will just pull right off. Oh yeah, it's all right. Excellent. Right, so crawling under the belly of the beast using the GoPro camera. This would be your clutch assembly. If you start digging into the bottom side, you can see where the homemade cutouts were to put this newer engine in it. Remember, this was also a automatic transmission at the time. This had to be adapted to a manual transmission. Remember, this is also a floor-mounted clutch, not a firewall-mounted clutch. Normally, you would actuate your fork this way. So what they simply did is goobered up a piece of rod right here, welded it to here. It goes to the pedal. On the other side, so when you engage your pedal, it simply pulls on it instead of pushes on it. Still goes the same way. Instead of pushing on it, you pull on it. I mean, it works. It works. And at least we still can adjust it. That's a nice feature. And there's our return spring. Custom, can't buy out of the store. That's the return spring for the clutch assembly when you're not using it. Fabulous. Right. I'm getting too fat for this. Right. That goes there. This can go here. Penetrating oil, I forgot. So I have to go back up top. Oh. Looking at the linkage right here, it's starting to get a little bit tight. So when I just disconnect it from here, I kid you not, there's no nut on this side of the bolt. I could just take this whole thing out. Oh my goodness. Just like that. I'll still probably take it off because it's still mounted up to the transmission. It'll still bonk itself when we pull it out, so I'll probably untwist it anyways. But wow, that would have been fun to lose a clutch going down the highway. That would have been all kinds of excitements. This would be the transmission support bolts. Last one for our cross member support. Yeah, why is it always the last one that's the hardest? I swear. Oh, okie dokie. Yeah. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, I am. I'm posting it on YouTube. Oops, my mistake. Ooh, there's a song by Split Enz. There's a little flashback there for you all. Yeah, that works. Sure. Well, come on. There we go. We can just leave that there. It's not going to go anywhere, apparently. All right. Let's see if we can persuade this thing downward. Oh. Ooh, something shifted. Oh yeah, we got movement. I says down, I says. Four. What's nice about this particular pickup, this has an open
bed that permits easily accessible passageway to your U-joints. That's absolutely smashing, darling. Those are needles. Like butter. Sweet. Working on the exhaust header now, the one that's still intact, or I thought I was intact. I started wrenching on this thing and turns out this has got the custom quick disconnect as well. Perfect. Sure, it would have ran. There, well, it's disconnected now. Perfect.
Now it's time for some draining of the Earl from the transmission and then the engine oil, and we're ready to pull this motor out. Let's see what 38 gear oil and 38-year-old engine oil look like. This will be the transmission first. Sorry guys, I need to get a creeper that doesn't squawk so much, or at least lube this one up. There we go. Ooh. Oh yeah, there's some moisture in there. Well, this might take a hot minute. Gosh darn it. Alright, well, I'll consider that drained. Go ahead and plug that nasty monstrosity back in. Maybe. Come on, come on. Wow, why won't this plug go in? Let's get it going here. There we go. No? Really? What? You came out, you need to go back in. Oh, now it's getting all gooey. Well, what? There you go. There, finally. Right, on to the engine oil. Three, two, one. Half a second, quarter of a second. All right, here we go. Hey! That looks really, well, it's dark, but it's coming out in one solid stream. There's no major chunkies in here.
Well, it's just like it was stored in a plastic bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Smells vintage. All right, well, it's only take a minute or two to drain. Hey, it's done. Wow, it was a lot faster than your tranny, that's for sure. All right.
Tranny's a little bit thicker oil, I imagine.
Yeah, I probably your standard 80, 90 weight. And nope, smash it up against our filler tube. Okie dokie. We're almost ready to go, except I don't feel comfortable with this top 10 piece here being here. With my luck, we'll be scraping against the oil pan, so due to magic and off the camera work, I still got one bolt back. Oh, come on, that was gonna be great. Come on, really? For real? Oh yeah, there it is right there. More blooper reel tape. Ouch. We'll just simply pull it off like this. There you go. I feel much more comfortable dragging the oil pan through here now. Right, it's time for some hoisting.
There, now you can broke loose.
Those are custom, baby. Might be fun getting. It might be fun getting a new one in. Now, I think we're gonna have to take the fire to it and cut the headers off because they are rubbing against the frame there, rubbing up against the frame right there. Just another day at the office. Oh yeah, there I got a fire started. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. We are clear, people. This is what I call a power move. Just try not to ruin your emblem. I really should have taken that off. Yeah, but I think we can clear it. Even if... Yeah, let me just take this off right quick, because I can actually come out. I think I can pivot it, these rods right where that, the shallow part of your can is. There we go. Uh-oh. All right, let's see what kind of clearances we're working with now. There we go. All right, before we wrap up this episode, let's go ahead and just pull this transmission off just for funsies and see what that clutch looks like and call that an episode. Plenty of wear left, not down to the rivets at all. It's in pretty good condition. Probably would have worked just fine once the rust finally worked itself out. It's very smooth. This is definitely a low mileage unit. As for the flywheel, we are not so lucky. The surface is smooth on it, but if we look at the teeth, they're pretty gnarly. Most notably right here, you can see how the teeth have just worn away. That's got some mileage on it. There's another section for you where the teeth have completely worn out. And here's spot number 3. As you can see, this flywheel, she's done. But as you may or may not know, engine, when it comes to rests, I think it's for at least V8s, there's going to be at least 2 or 3 spots where it always stops at. And of course, that's where the most damage is. That's where the flywheel ring gear gets worn out the most. In the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the donor engine. We're gonna probably pull the oil pan off, take a look at the bearings just for fun on the crankshaft and on the connecting rods, replace the gaskets underneath, you know, front, rear main seal, oil pan, all that fun stuff. Dust it off, obviously. It's been sitting for a long time. There's a lot of cobwebs and chicken poo on it. So we'll look forward to more content in the not too distant future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all later. Here we go. In 1975, this pickup was bought as a first car for the current owner when... In 1975, this pickup was bought as a first car for the current owner. In 1975, this pickup was bought as a first car for the current... Freaking goodness. Maybe this will help. Ooh, gas bowl. Let me do this. Sit still. Gosh, it's hard to do this zoomed in stuff. Term, yes. Give me more stuff to edit out, as if I don't have enough to do in my life. Twiggy, twiggy. Oh. I need to disconnect the shifter. Nerd. Idiots. This truck does not want to let go of its old engine. Oop, stay there. They originally puts a particle board in here for noise detonation. Noise detonation. You don't want noise suppression. Right. Engine's frozen. No big deal. I've had worse. Oh yeah. When the piston is through the outside of the engine, that's the bigger problem. Now let's see if I can do this. There. So I can do this without ruining the camera angle and hurting myself. All right, middle of the camera.
I remember getting it at the farm when I first bought it and took it out of the farm and, you know, washing your truck.
Yes, oh yeah, spit polishing it, oh yeah.
My mom always said, why do you buy that thing?
Why you buy that
old
junk?
thing? I still never regret it.
There you go.